You may know him as Jerome State, a.k.a. Uncle Jerome on Snowfall. We know him as Amin Joseph. Welcome to VladTV.
What's up?
Man, we're so excited to have you.
Come on now.
How are you feeling?
Got Unk in the building.
Right. The real Unk. How you feeling? How's everything?
I'm good. I got like we were just talking, I got a son,
Right.
I got a new little, his Father's Day just came by, so, I'm good.
How did it feel to bring your baby out to a beautiful restaurant in Malibu?
It feels really good. It's surreal, actually. I feel like I'm grown up in the face now, you know?
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
3 months is young.
I'm telling you. They're just like this, just this precious little smiley, giggly, drooly thing.
Did you, is he keeping you up at all? Is he crying?
He's not really a crier.
Oh, okay. Good.
I mean, yeah, his mother should tell you because it's not like I'm first responder, but nah, he's precious, man. He's precious. He has a great temperament.
I love it.
Yeah, he's dope. He's dope.
Do you see yourself in him, or are you like, wow?
Certain things, certain times, yeah, certain, of course the family, you know how families are. Families would be like, oh, I see this person, I see this side of the family, this is that person's nose, ears, throat, like, but yeah, I don't see like, oh wow, he's the spitting image, but there's certain times where I'm like, wow, I got a baby picture that looks just like that.
Aw, that's adorable.
Yeah.
Speaking of, I definitely want to get into your backstory. You're from Far Rockaway, New York.
Yeah.
What was the household like growing up for you?
In the Far Rockaway, Far Rockaway, Queens. I love my birthplace. I moved there pretty early, but I grew up, St. John's Hospital. Grew up in Far Rockaway, Queens. Peace to everybody out there, and yeah, that was a long stretch out on the A train, like that A train going to Mott Avenue.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was the household like? Were both your parents there?
Yeah. I had both of my parents. I was a single kid at the time. And I went to all the little, like I started playing baseball and out there and basketball. And it was dope. Nordak. Big shout out to Nordak, Edgemere. OV, yeah.
Were you nice with the baseball?
I was all right. I couldn't hit.
Okay.
I played all the way through high school, but I couldn't hit. I couldn't hit. So, where you going if you ain't hitting? You just fielding all day? Yeah, so I had to give it up. But I still play, and, I'm doing a film and doing a biopic. I
saw that. That's crazy.
I'm playing a baseball player, so, like dreams deferred sometimes become actualized when you do this.
That must be so full circle.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy.
That's awesome, man.
Life is good.
I saw you say early on, you either partake in the streets or sports. Were you involved in anything early on?
As far as streets?
Yeah.
Nothing different than anybody from where I'm from. I grew up in a place where it was a lot of people was looking to get reps at the time. So, I done been a juvenile delinquent in some ways. But I try to keep it, I tried to always steer back to the teachings that my mom, so that my father and the people that really cared about me.
Oh, yeah.
I tried to, so I've gotten in trouble. I ain't gonna ever get into those type of things. But, yeah, but, that's just to me, everyone when I was growing up was sort of mischievous in that way, where you get in some trouble. Hopefully nothing is deadly, nothing is, you're not taking lives, but,
right.
we lost friends and things like that growing up too.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you grow up well off, middle class, or struggling?
I would say I kind of grew up lower class, but Huxtable adjacent. Yeah? Okay. Huxtable adjacent. Sort of, the great thing about when you do have your father in your home is that it gives you some structure that some of your other friends might not have, and puts a circle of your truth that you may know better about certain things. So I do notice that most of my friends that grew up with a father in their home, in my opinion, they had less excuses, especially if that father was present and wasn't abusive, you know?
Right. That's real.
So yeah, so I had that for a part of the time when I was growing up, and my parents did split, so I've also, you know, had the single parent household as well. Yeah.
How old were you when that happened?
How old? I was around 7, maybe 7 or 8. Yeah.
How do you feel like that affected you?
How do I feel like my parents split and affected me? It definitely affected me. I don't think psychologically kids really recognize how it affects you. I think unpacking that as an adult, you start to realize, wow, this is how things affected me. Maybe I was a little bit more, bad or mischievous at school, or because of these things that you perhaps couldn't see back then. You just felt like you was doing what you wanted to do, you know what I mean, having fun. So yeah, it definitely did affect me, probably more emotionally than I realized at the time.
Right.
Yeah.
And then were you, obviously you got into theater and all that.
Mm-hmm. Which probably was, at the time, not realizing, probably was a place for me to express myself in a way that I wasn't at home, or to work out different emotions and things of that nature.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Did mom or dad have any, background in?
Nah, not really. I mean, my mother is funny. My father is a great storyteller. So I think you do pick up things. I grew up in a musical household. They would always be playing. I would always have my own little 45 records, and it was, there was art. I was always exposed to art growing up. But I remember when I was young, if my mother or father put me in a drama class or dance class or anything, I would be in the back of the class wrestling. I was playing WWF or something.
Oh, damn.
At the time. WWF, that take me back. Yeah, so I just like to have fun, you know what I mean? I like to play sports outside and stuff. So usually the art disciplines it was hard for me to really focus on those things when I was really young. Right. But I began to appreciate them once I got a little older.
Right. Definitely. Man, well, when did you know you wanted to be an actor?
I was in the 10th grade, and I didn't know that I wanted to be an actor. I knew that I wasn't going to make it in sports. and real early, I realized, like, oh, wow, like these dudes are so good at the high school level. I just, kind of realized, like, wow, I'm going to have to do something else. And maybe find something where it ain't going to have a limit of time on it.
Damn.
where you could take your time to get to improve.
Right.
And the arts were right there. I always was, in some sort of drama performance. I was doing commercials and stuff like that. People in my neighborhood would be like, oh, that's commercial man right there, So I decided that maybe theater arts is something that I would want to pursue. I ended up going to Howard University for it. But I was working, when I was young, I was working at the Apollo Theater.
As an intern opening doors.
Yeah, all that. I was doing all that. So welcome to the world famous Apollo Theater, where stars are born and legends are made. There we go.
How many times did you have to say that?
Well, I said that like 1,000 times a day. Like that, for every person that walked in the orchestra, I had to say that. Y'all know that. That's my peoples in Harlem. Big shout out to all my folks in Harlem and the Apollo Theater, the Apollo Theater Foundation. That's a lot of my early memories of the arts and seeing, amazing performances, and everybody from the late James Brown to the late Notorious B.I.G., you know what I mean? Seeing the entire Wu-Tang Clan on the stage at the same time. Just a lot of things that I'd be back in the back of the Apollo watching this and sort of soaking in performance. These are bigger than life, acts and entertainers that I'm able to see almost on a nightly basis and be able to be like, all right, that's how they do that. Like, that's how and then see how they interact with people off stage and then back on, and realize how I'm going to shape my destiny and how would I engage with people. Those are all things that were being imprinted on me way back then.
Crazy.
So the Apollo and I would say Howard University, but sometime in high school in like the 10th grade, around that time where I was just starting working there, I started realizing like acting would be the thing that I would do.
First of all, how'd you land that internship? Because I'm sure hella people want to work there. It was
my best friend.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my best friend, he got a job there doing the summer youth program that they did in New York, kind of keep the kids off of the streets and put some money in your pocket. And he got in through that, and then I would be with him all the time. So one day they was like, here go an application. You go ahead and see if you can, see if they'll hire you as well. They hired both of us, and we became little knuckleheads running around there. But like through college, I came back after college, all of that.
Right. Oh, what'd you do after?
Well, when I first originally went to the Apollo, I think I was like ushering, and we were working in like the administrative offices doing little office assistant type stuff. Then I remember working backstage. That'd be like patching lights and stuff. But they realized that we would be backstage messing with the performers, because when the performers come in, we'd be dipping, going to their green rooms and trying to meet people and all that. So they snatched us from there, put us in the front of the house, and that's the ushering stuff.
Right.
And then, I bartended there as I got older, and, I got my liquor license to bartend. I would bartend there and make tips and stuff. And then I would do that around the city as I was, supporting my acting career.
Right.
So yeah, I've had, probably 4 or 5 different jobs there at the Apollo.
Wow.
They were really instrumental in raising me and a few of the, me and probably hundreds of other people in the neighborhood.
Right.
First getting your first job and earning a paycheck and all that. Yeah.
Can you talk about, I know you have a really heartwarming story of Monique supporting you early on. That was at the Apollo Theater?
Mo, same best friend. One day I'm in the back. I think this was when I was bartending. So I'm bartending, fixing up drinks. It's way at the back of the orchestra, and the front is the stage. So every day I would watch the stage and be like, one day I'm going to be there.
Right.
Right now, what you want? Rum and Coke, Jack and Coke, right? So one day I hear "Amen" from the stage. I hear you're an actor, and it's Monique, and I'm like, what? People turned around, and I'm thinking I'm about to get fired.
What? For doing
Why is she screaming my name on the stage?
That's crazy.
What's going on? I done messed up somebody's drink, or what did I do? And she comes off the stage. She's like, I hear you're an actor, and you're gonna make it in Hollywood, and you're a star. Come with me to my dressing room. And now, the dressing rooms, like I said, we used to knucklehead around in the green rooms, but the main dressing rooms were up like some steps in the Apollo, way up top, and we never were able to kind of get in there. That's where, like if Puffy and them isn't, whoever's the main people running the show for the evening, that's what they would be. So Monique, while she was hosting Showtime at the Apollo, she would be up there in that main dressing room. So I had never been up there. She took me up there. She introduced me to her agent. She told her agent, you need to sign this young man. He's going to be a big thing in Hollywood. And she pulled out the entire works. And and I left there, I was so filled, you know what I mean? I left there like, what? Now, at this time, I wasn't acting in anything.
So how'd she know you were good?
She didn't.
Oh.
She said that the way that my friend talked about me.
Oh, wow.
She was like, he spoke so much promise about me to her that she knew that whether I was going to make it or not, with someone believing in you like that to come, because he was working there too. He took a risk. He went off his post to go do that, to like, yo, I'm going to talk to Monique. And he had said, before, like, yo, we need to talk to Monique, put you on. I'm like, yeah, all right. You know how sometimes people will believe in you a little bit more than you will for yourself at certain stages of your matriculation, And at the time, like I said, yeah, this is something that I want to do. I done told my peoples, brave enough to say that, but they like, yo, what you been in? How you an actor? So you don't really say that to people.
Right.
So yeah, Monique was really instrumental, and those are the type of things that get you from perhaps thinking about you're going to do something to taking steps. So those were one of the things that helped me take steps to go ahead and look for an agent, to be represented, to to get serious about my theater career, and then after that, theatrical and commercial and all that. So yeah, Monique really spoke life in me that day.
Crazy.
Really.
Were you starstruck at all?
About her?
Yeah.
Well, the crazy thing is we weren't really that starstruck because we kind of grew up around, you know what I mean? So it was more about, am I going to get fired?
Yeah.
It was more about like, we wildin'. So I remember running the minute she did that, and I might have stayed up there like 15 because I'm trying to chill and act like I'm supposed to be here, but my post is down there. You know what I mean? Like the bar got nobody attending it.
Damn.
So I run down and I'm like, yo, I might get fired, but you know what? That felt good.
Yeah.
And, but of course it works out, it worked out. But it wasn't so much the starstruck. It was really the fact that seeing her all the time there, and so many other people did that as well. Steve Harvey did that for us there. Right? Like I said, I mentioned Puff. Puff did that while we were there. So many people would come through and see us as young men working there.
Right.
Talent, Capone, the comedian, they would be like, y'all can do whatever y'all say y'all want to do, y'all can do, and speak life into young people. That's really important. I try to do the same thing.
That's beautiful. Have you spoken to her since?
Yeah, I spoke to her. She remembers the account. Aww. It's so crazy. They did a thing. They was like giving her flowers on Clubhouse one night. And someone patched me in and was like, yo, hey, I don't even know why they patched me in. I was like, oh, Mo, I haven't talked to her in so long. And I told her to, how impactful she was. And she was like, oh, baby, you know how she is. Yeah. She was like, I remember that. And yes, I do remember that. And,
That's
all the
awesome.
love and pay it forward and all that.
For sure. I love that. Yeah, I remember that pay it forward moment. I think that's so beautiful to take away. How do you feel about everything that's going on with her in the news?
It's crazy. It's crazy. I feel like you never know what people going through. I don't know what Sister Mo going through, but I love her. I would never speak down on her because I know what she's done, and I know the experience I've had. Of course, other people gonna have other experiences,
Right.
We So I pray that she works it out. I heard that she gave an apology, on stage.
To DL Hughley, right?
But who knows if that's accepted? Apologies are usually for us, So who knows if that's accepted? I hope it is, and I hope they find, mutual ground, or keep it on the stage.
Right.
Sometimes it ain't even about that. Sometimes it's about, we're gonna keep this going.
Right.
But it's on stage and it's not affecting people. Seriously, it's not.
Totally.
It's not cutting deep, and I'm happy that she found in herself to apologize, and I hope they work that out.
Definitely. I think you did get a commercial as a kid, right?
Yeah, I used to do a whole bunch of commercials actually. Yeah.
How much did you make your first one? Do you remember?
I don't know, maybe 15, 30 G's, something like that, maybe.
For a commercial?
Yeah, they was cracking.
Wait, I did not expect that.
How much you thought I was going to say? 1,500?
Your first commercial, yeah.
Nah,
said 15, 30 G's?
Yeah.
As a kid?
Yeah.
Wow, all right. So
no, that's why, why you think I picked it? I was chasing that check. I was chasing that check for another 10 years.
Damn.
Yeah. That's what I was like. Yeah, this basketball don't look like I'm too competitive.
Yeah.
But this 30 G's right here.
I'm in the wrong field.
Yeah, back in those days, commercials paid. I'm not so sure what they pay now. I haven't done commercials in eons. But back then, there were less networks. So I would think more attention was on, each platform, and there was more repetition to the commercials. You would, now these days, campaigns move so quick, the cycles move so fast that it's very rare that you see a commercial for 2 months, not to mention a year.
Right.
But back then, a commercial, you would know that commercial, you know what I mean? To the point where, to nauseam, So yeah, I did a few commercials. I did 2 commercials at least.
That's beautiful.
That were in that range.
Yeah.
And so you get a whip off of that. It was.
I know.
It was
How did
good.
moms react to that check?
It was good. Truthfully, the check was for school. The check was for school. It was supposed to be. They were, like, yo, Amin, you should probably invest the money, put it some towards school, invest the rest. I was like, I'm about to invest in these gold chains. I'm about to get me a nice little whip and be pushing it through Harlem. That's
funny.
what,
Did you get a whip? What'd you get?
I got a little Ford Mustang.
Okay.
No, it was an Escort. It was a Ford Escort.
Okay.
Yeah, I had a Mustang too, but that first car was a Ford Escort. Yeah, it was black with a little rims. Yeah, I thought I was doing it. It was stick shift too. In New York.
That's funny. What made you decide to go to Howard University?
I just wanted to extend. I went to a Catholic all-boys high school in Harlem.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, the all-boys experience I was done with that. But I definitely loved the black experience, you know. So I kind of wanted to go. They was calling Howard Mecca. We call Harlem a Mecca. So to me, it was like, this feels right.
Right.
And then they had a great theater program.
Oh, okay.
The late, great Al Jr., Al Freeman Jr. was artistic director at the time. And, just a legacy of great artists coming out of Howard. So, yeah, I definitely wanted to sign up for that. I felt like I would be one of the artists of my time. So let me go to a place where artists have already come through this place, through these walls, through these theaters, and learned and was able to take it on, have a professional career,
Definitely. What was your HBCU experience like?
It was great. I mean, yeah, it was fun. It was fun. I learned a lot. I did also learn that, school isn't everything. So there was a lot of hard knocks that I would have to learn after leaving school. But foundation-wise, definitely it's, a lot of times I actually feel like I knew what I wanted to do in the 10th grade, maybe 9th or 10th grade.
Wow.
There's not that many people that are like that know what they want to do, and they can do that pretty much most of their adult career.
Right.
Their life, make a career out of it, That's a lot to ask of a young person, in my opinion. So I'm not opposed to young people taking the time to find out what they would like to invest in for that long amount of period. For myself, I knew, so it worked for me, and I'm still doing that, But I realized that that's not always, if to be quite honest, that's not usually the case,
Right.
So I feel like we should get that together in this country and support our children a little bit more coming out of high school with what they want to do and how you can make that time, make it educational, but not the type of debt that we put on kids early for things that they may not eventually do.
I was just talking to someone about that, and they were saying, like, they don't teach you that you're going to go into all this debt after high school. Like,
it's crazy.
Yeah.
And then the parents are going back into debt, too.
Yeah.
So the parents might have just got out. Come on, student loans. You in your 40s with student loans.
Right.
And now you re-ing up with your children, it's a perpetual debt cycle.
Right.
That sometimes doesn't sometimes not worth it.
Right.
Yeah.
Crazy. Man, well, 2004, you made your small screen debut in the action drama Rage and Discipline.
Mm-hmm.
How was that?
That was crazy. That was a Harlem film. Big shout out to Brian Clyde and Joe Suba. But I did a film. I used to box at this PAL. Big shout out to Coach Pete too.
Mm.
And I used to go through there with Joe. It's like a PAL boxing gym up in Harlem. And one day he told me, yo, they're doing a film. And I had just came out of college. He was like, yo, they're doing a film. It's boxers versus gangsters. I'm like, all right, boxers versus gangsters. That sounds, something happens with a girl and they start fighting over the girl and dudes get shot and it becomes a hood beef. And it's on it's a micro budget, it's a micro budget film, but it's going to end up on BET. I'm like, word. And so I ended up doing this film. And the craziest thing I remember from it is that, I used to box but I was amateur boxing. But for the film, the filmmaker ended up getting like some, like professional boxers so that it would look good, So in these scenes, I would have to spar, these are fights that are going on in the film, and I have to look like I'm beating these dudes.
Damn.
But in order to beat a real boxers don't turn on and turn off their skills. Like, you know what I mean? Like they punch through things. So when you use them in a real, like in this fake situation where I'm supposed to be winning the fight, to score on them, I really got to find a way to clock them. And to clock them means I'm also going to have to open myself up. Man, they chewed my ass to bits.
Oh my God, really?
Bro, that shit was crazy. I ain't never had my ass whipped every day. I'm coming back every day like, hey, yo. So today, they be like, yo, Amin, I'm sorry, bro. I'm so sorry. I know. We get back in the ring. Like, yo, I got to land this overhand right.
Damn.
But it was open. Like, bruh, I was dying. But it was a really fun film to make. It did end up landing on BET. Dope. And I had fun with it, but I learned a valuable lesson that when you deal with professional fighters, that they cannot turn off. They can't. I'm not mad at them.
Right.
But they were so apologetic. Every day they'd be like, oh, yo, I'm so sorry, bro. Yeah. I'm so sorry. I'm like, yo, I'm sorry too, bro.
That's hilarious.
I got to come back here tomorrow and patch up tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, is this a good time to talk about your fighting scene in Baywatch?
Cool, yeah.
Dwayne Johnson?
Yeah.
You talk about watching WWF, you fighting The Rock.
Exactly. Yeah, I've definitely had the pleasure of fighting some iconic figures on screen. Dwayne was definitely one of them. That's a big man.
Yeah.
It's a big brother right there.
Yeah.
And his doubles, like his cousin Tanawat, some big brothers, some big dudes.
How was that scene?
You're talking about, because we had a couple, but
oh, okay. I just remember watching.
You're talking about the
y'all were fighting
diaper genie scene, yeah. Yeah, it was fun. It was really fun. And Dwayne's hands-on, too, because, a lot of times, just to be able to protect a lot of the stars, a lot of them don't do much of their fight choreography.
Right.
They let their doubles, their stunt doubles, and other people in their team handle that, because if you lose, someone like Dwayne for any amount of time, it's detrimental to not only this production, but all the other things he has going on. But that being said, he was very hands-on. So we definitely, got to mix it up and throw punches and bodies around and stuff like that. And yeah, it was definitely fun.
Yeah, I was going to say, that sounds fun.
Yeah.
How was it, the dynamic with the rest of the cast? You had Zac Efron, David, Pamela Anderson.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. We shot it in Miami, and we shot some in Georgia as well. Actually, in Tybee Island, like a little island, I think off the coast of South Carolina.
Oh,
We
wow.
shot, Savannah, Georgia, and so we were a few different places. I think we also in like Boca Raton,
Oh, wow.
Florida as well.
Crazy.
So yeah, it was fun. It was really fun. You know, it was a comedy, so it was like a funny. It had action. It had comedy. Of course, it had beautiful people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. 2010, you played a pirate leader in Expendables?
The Expendables? Yeah, the
Yeah.
Expendables. That was my joint. Yeah, that was like with Sylvester Stallone.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah, it was like with
That's
Sylvester
legendary.
Stallone, and it was with, they had Arnold Schwarzenegger in it, Bruce Willis was in it, Dolph Lundgren, and Jet Li, and tons of action heroes. Terry Crews, big shout out to Terry.
Wow.
Yeah, so I got to mix it up with them in, what was that, in Louisiana we shot that.
Crazy.
They did a little piece in Brazil too. But Louisiana, it was hot. It was hot. Louisiana shooting, and I just remember seeing like Jason Statham
I love it.
And Sylvester Stallone, and like all of these action heroes that you kind of grow up like, yo, those are dudes. And it was like, all right, here's an action scene, and I'm going against these dudes.
Right.
Like, there was definitely one of those moments was like, oh, I do this.
Yeah.
This is what I do.
Oh, yeah.
Like, yeah, we're going to
love
stand our ground on that.
Right. That's
It was
beautiful.
definitely fun.
2 years later, you were in Freelancers with 50 Cent, Robert De Niro, Forrest Whitaker.
Yeah. Big shout out to 50, man. 50 is, man, because that's when 50 was doing a ton of films back to back, if you remember.
Mm-hmm.
He was doing like a whole bunch of action films. Remember, he had done the film. He was doing dramas too, but he was shooting a lot of them in Louisiana, actually, in New Orleans. And Freelancers was one of them. And I remember talking to him. I was like, yo, this was like maybe this is like the third one that he had done back to back. And I was like, yo, bro, how are you doing it? Like, you doing films? I think he had like a bus there where he was also recording, like, you know, for recording music. And he kind of like gave me his rundown. He was like, yo, I get up at this time, I do it. I'm like, yo, fam is a machine.
What time you getting up?
Yo, he was getting up like 4 in the morning, like 4 or 5 in the morning. And the day and he had it cut out. But he was on the set talking to me
Yeah.
at this time, right?
Yeah.
He's producing this film. He's got albums. He's got, you know, all the other press stuff. I don't think people really know how much of a machine some of these business minds and people that we have in this business are. Like, it takes a lot of energy. This ain't your regular wake up in the morning, grab a coffee. This is a different type of drive, you know. So I took that from him.
That's beautiful.
During that time, I was like, wow, you know, this is what it looks like to really, and this is way before Power and Stars and all of that. This is way before that.
Crazy.
He had made a tremendous deal and pumped out those films.
Wow.
You know, yeah. And Freelancers was one of them. And yeah, so I got to play with him for like a day or two on there. That was a smaller role, but that was what was really impactful, is to kind of go there and get a glimpse, just a small glimpse of his work ethic.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Have you talked to him since?
I haven't seen him since.
Oh, okay.
It's great. He too busy.
Right.
He's too busy.
I got to interview him on Zoom like during COVID. His energy is so amazing too. Like, kind, genuine, you know?
It's focus.
Yeah.
He has a focused energy. You know what I mean? You ask him a question and you can see the wheels and he's giving you what you need. You know what I mean? He's giving you, he could answer it 1,000 different ways, but in that situation, I definitely could tell that he was giving me what I needed, because I was coming to him. I was looking to produce my own films and do my own action stuff.
Right.
And Yeah, and he just let it be known in a way that it can be done, but that, you know, a lot of people got a talent. Not everybody got the gift.
Right. That part. 1 year later, you did G.I. Joe Retaliation, your first big budget film.
Yeah, G.I. Joe. Well, Expendables was the first big one.
Okay.
But G.I. Joe had a lot of the folks in it that, had Dwayne in it as well. It had Bruce Willis in it. So it was in Louisiana as well. There was a lot of stuff being shot in Louisiana at the time. So yeah, but again, that was another one where it's kind of like just building credits. It was another one where I was in it for a glimpse, like choose the scenes and keep it moving to the next project, but kind of building that filmography.
Right. Man, because I was going to say, you're built like you played sports. You killed it.
I did.
What's your workout regimen?
Oh, the workout regimen right now is horrible. I'm getting older. I got to start shaping this body into what I want it to be for the next 20, 25 years. So to me, mainly that's going to be diet.
Okay.
Diet. The workout has always been steady for me, but to me, diet is what's going to keep a six pack, is what's going to keep your core tight. And also, I would say just staying active, keeping the cardio.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, at least. I'm on record saying it, now I got to live up to it, right?
Right. Who do you listen to when you work out?
It matters the mood. I'm moody. Like, what I'm listening to right now, I had a good moment listening to Nori. I was just going through a lot of Nori, and I was listening to Prodigy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was listening to a lot of that this weekend.
Oh, yeah, you from New York.
I don't know why. It just something hit me like, yo, I need some P. And then I was like, I need some Prodigy. I mean, I need some Nori in my life. Yeah, so I was what-whatting all top down, what-whatting through Cali. I know people looking at me crazy.
That's funny.
But yeah, I like I'm moody, so it just matters my mood. But I like a lot of, I like hip hop, of course. I also like some R&B. I'll go, I'll need some soft tunes sometimes. I'll need a little. Then sometimes I need like just some happy music, right? I just need some, instrumentals sometimes.
I saw you say you fuck with the new Kendrick.
Oh, come on. Yeah, that new Kendrick is crazy.
Right.
Yeah, it's crazy. I need that sometimes.
Right.
I need that sometimes. I could throw that on. Then I get a little too heavy. And then I move on to something else. But yeah, that Kendrick album is, man, that brother is brilliant.
For sure.
For real.
You also did The Gambler 2013. What was that experience with Mark Wahlberg?
Oh man, that experience was really cool. Mark Wahlberg, he's class act. And I got to work with Michael K. Williams in that film and learned a lot from Mike. And, a little sad, remiss that brother, we stayed in touch a lot after that.
Yeah. And
yeah, my brother's gone now, but I had talked to him. He had done an amazing job in the what's the HBO series? There's an HBO series that he did. It's right on the tip of my tongue. But it's with Jonathan Majors. I think it's called Lovecraft Country. Yeah. And I think there was an episode, it might have been 109.
Oh, you know the number of the episode?
Stop. It's what I do.
Right.
So 109.
Crazy.
Michael K. Williams gave a performance in that episode. That's one for the ages.
I love it.
And I hit Mike. Mike, he's super humble. Oh, thank you, amen. And we talked about it a bit. Yeah, and that's the last time I talked to him.
Wow.
But fantastic spirit. He's with us.
For
He
sure.
definitely with us.
For sure.
But yeah, I worked with him on The Gambler, and we had fun on that film. Yeah.
For sure. 2015, you did Dope with A$AP Rocky, Zoe Kravitz, Tyga.
Yeah, Dope was fun. Yeah, I feel like Dope, I started learning to craft these characters in a certain way to make them a bit more memorable, more than just playing the part. You know, you can play the part and you play the part well and a job well done. You book a part, you play it, people are happy. But then there's another thing that's infused when you start making roles and characters a little bit more sticky, like people remember them more. You start just being able to make moments for an audience. And I feel like around that time, I had done a film that I produced called Call Me King, and I done Dope around that time. And it just, at that time, things started clicking to me on a level of me connecting to my craft. You know, like the type of art, the type of moments that I could be able to charge into saying something or doing something, or not even saying something, just being. I started to find a new confidence in that. And Dope to me is something that I can look back at now and be like, yeah, it was around there, where it was like, yeah, bro, you're gonna start moving audiences a little different.
What was it about that movie? Was it your character, you feel like?
I mean, the character was definitely over the top. It was written to be that. But it was just, I don't know, it was just how I relate to the material and realizing like how you relate to the material is your thing. It's, I don't second guess my interpretation of things.
Right.
And it's unique. It's mine. It's from us. It's from my, it's from how I've grown up and see things, and other people may relate to that. And I just feel like that type of portrayal if I'm putting that type of guts in it, people respond,
Right.
So yeah, it wasn't really the role as much as it was how I approached it.
For sure. I love it. Man, all right. So the fun part,
Yeah.
2017, Snowfall Season 1 launches. What was going through your,
Back then it was really, for me and probably most of the cast, we just wanted people to like it. We wanted people to see it. And Snowfall didn't get off to the greatest of starts. So I remember, talking to John Singleton and being like, yo, John, what's going on?
Yeah.
We did it, didn't we? What happened? Like, they not fucking with it. Like, what's up with Snowfall?
Right.
And John would just be like, you actors, y'all impatient. He would just be like, yo, y'all impatient, man.
Right.
They gon' fuck with it. Just, they need time. The audience needs time. It's a build. It's a story that builds. This isn't some just baseless, random crime and shooting and all that. Like,
Right.
this is a story that has to build, and they're gonna come to love the characters. They're gonna come to love. He always mentioned that. He was like, they're gonna come to love the family. They're gonna come to love these characters, and it's gonna tear them apart. The things that they go through.
Right.
And he always knew that. He always knew that it would catch an audience. He always knew that. And we'd be at a certain point, by the second season, we was like, yeah, all right, bro, this about to be canceled.
Why?
We just felt like people weren't seeing it and weren't responding to it.
Crazy.
That's how we felt, you know. Hindsight is 2020, but these are the kind of things that artists go through while, you know, it's no different than probably an artist that makes a song that hits a year after they first released it, you know, and then the zeitgeist catch it and then it's like, it's everywhere. But at the time, they probably trying to rethink the formula because it's like, why didn't this go? You know, so that's how we kind of felt. We felt like it was a big story at the time. It was very much an ensemble story and cast, but we felt like the nugget of like, especially from the side that we were portraying, it was like, you know, this is good and this is going to be impactful. So why ain't it hitting? So there's a lesson in that, you know, there's a lesson in patience. There's a lesson in allowing a audience, first of all, being in the position where a studio and a network believes in the project long enough to give it its time.
Hell yeah.
To impress upon an audience. You
Right.
know, and FX, I give them a lot of props and respect for that. And the showrunners continuing to stay, you know, Dave Andron, the writing team, like Walter Mosley, staying
I interviewed Walter, yeah.
staying on course, you know, and not veering off because, you know, perhaps an audience may be lukewarm to something, you know. So it takes a lot of integrity to stay the course and then to the fruits bear. And then it's like, oh, yo, it's one of the more popular shows on television. Like, yeah, but there was a journey to get there.
For sure.
This one didn't start off like from season 1, episode 1, you know.
You know what's crazy though? Snowfall is Vlad's favorite TV show on television. He's watched every episode from season 1.
That's crazy. That's crazy. I remember when he did an interview with Isaiah, he had mentioned that. Yeah, he had mentioned that. But yeah, it's a lot of people like it, but there's the things that people like that people say. That it seems like it's on. Everybody is saying it at the same time. Right. And then there's these things that people like that is like, yo, you ever watch? And it's like, oh yeah, yo, that's my shit. Yeah. But it ain't everywhere.
Right.
The people aren't saying it everywhere. So Snowfall went through its moment like that. It's definitely in a different season now. But yeah, first 3 seasons, it was like that. It was definitely like that.
And the movie is essentially a prequel to Boys in the Hood, right?
So, some would say that. I think John had mentioned that this was, you know, but more so it's the moniker of this is how crack began.
Right.
You know.
Crazy. For those who don't know, I know you've probably been asked this a bunch, but how did you land the role as Jerome Saint, aka Uncle Jerome?
How did I land the role? I went in an audition like everyone else. Snowfall had an iteration before this one that we see now, and other people were cast as some of these characters. So, and I had auditioned that first time around as well. And I got somewhere in the mix, but they ended up going another way. So when Snowfall came back and was auditioning again, like the following year, almost to the date, I was like, what's this? I was like, I even told my agent, I'm like, I went in for this already. Like, what, deja vu or something? What's going on? They were like, no, they're retooling it. They're retooling it. They're going to shoot the pilot again.
Oh, wow.
And the material was different, but not much different than it was the first time around. And I went in the same way and it was favorable again, but this time I moved on. I think the first time maybe I got a call back. The second time it went from call back to kind of like a producer session. And, you know, you do a producer session, you do a chemistry session. And I think, I did those. And then it was like, I remember the chemistry session, it was with Angela. It was with other people too. Some of my friends I ain't gonna mention, but I do remember, you know, the first chemistry with Angela, that was like the chemistry that we have on the show we had from the moment we met each other. Right. It was crazy. Like we had a fun audition and it was like, you know, one of them auditions you like, well, if that ain't it, then I don't know what they looking for. Right. Like, that's crazy.
Right.
You know, and we felt like that. I think it might have been her birthday that day or something
wow.
crazy too. But yeah, and you know, it took a while. It took a while. And I think, honestly, I think at the time, John was the holdout. John was the holdout because John, um, when John loves an actor and has a vision for a project, he holds, you know, he sticks to his vision. And I think that he had envisioned this, you know, the character Jerome and other characters a certain way with certain people. So it took him a while to be like, all right, we're going to go a different way on this. So I remember the first time you know, we met a few times before actually being on set. But I do remember the first time on set with him. And I've mentioned it several times before, but John is like right here. I think I'm getting mic'd up. And this is the first day of shooting. It's the first day that I'm filming. I think it's me and Damson's about to do a scene, the first scene where he offers me the brick to sell for him. And John's like, you see over there behind Video Village? You see the motherfuckers over there? He's like, yeah, this they neighborhood. This, you know, and we in the 60s, right? And so I'm like, yeah, man, you in New York. You from New York, right? But, you know, like this South Central. So, you know, you gotta come with it, cause this they shit. So these niggas behind Video Village, like, I'm like, word, you gonna do this now, bro? We could have did this the other day,
Yeah.
right? So I just listened to him, and he said some other stuff, and I was like, watch what happened right now. Go sit behind the thing, and let's go watch what happened. And we did that first scene, and then by lunchtime, like let's say we did that scene, and then we wrapped that scene right before lunch. So we go to lunch, and now we in the line to get the little, you know, craft service line or whatever to get food. And I look at him. I'm making sure I go by him too, because he ain't said nothing. So I go by him, and I go stand by him. He was getting some lunch, which is another thing. He always ate with us, always ate with the crew, always ate with the actor. Like, not like go take your stuff to your trailer, but always ate amongst the crew, you know?
That's awesome.
So I go over by him, right? I'm like, yeah. Yeah, what's up?
All right.
Right? So he still ain't said nothing. He getting this stuff, right? And then one of his dudes that was behind the joint, behind the Video Village with him, was like, hey, yo, man. Whoo, you. So he's like, yeah, motherfucker, yeah, you got we still got a lot of work to do. And I was like, yeah, we got you, bro. We got you. But that started a really great relationship with us and a trust, you know what I mean? Because even though he was doing that, truthfully, he just wanted the authenticity. He wanted to, he's always wanted to show his community in a certain light. And although this business is you have to sort of collaborate with people. But even in that collaboration, you want your authenticity, you know what I mean? So to me, that was a moment of just trust building with him. And man, you know, that's my guy.
Yeah, for sure.
That's how it started. It was funny.
That's hilarious. I love that. How was it when you first met the rest of the cast too?
I mean, yeah, I mentioned with Angela, with Damson. I had met Damson honestly before. I met Damson on the first time around when we when he first booked Snowfall and they ended up shooting a hole. I was, like I said, I was in the mix in that round as well. So I had met him then and knew about him. I had heard about this kid from the UK that they had already cast and he was doing chemistry back then. Yeah. So I had met him and had wished him luck and everything. So, you know, when I saw him the second time, we were chemistry reading for the second time around. So that was all natural, and that's my little bro. That's my bro.
I love it.
Good brother and uber talented.
For sure. Could you pull off a British accent if you had to?
Of course.
Oh, okay.
Of course. I wouldn't do it here. You don't pay me, but yeah, we gonna get those in.
Yeah.
We gonna definitely get it. We can do all the dialects. That's
Right.
that's what we trained for, right?
Right.
Yeah, we can do all the dialects. We gonna do it. But we gonna do it for the money.
Facts. How do you feel about British actors taking so many big American roles?
I think that's ridiculous. British actors are taking what? Like, that makes no sense. I don't know who started that, but it's weird to me. Because nice people like to work with nice people. If you good at something, you want to work with the best. You want the best on your team, right? And yeah, so I think, I don't know where that first started, but I know that a lot of people have weighed in on it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's quite ridiculous to me. I like to work with the best actor.
Right.
And if the best actor happens to be British or French or whatever, I want to work with them.
Right.
And as a people, because a lot of times when we, like, the British thing, it's not just British. It's almost like there's a color thing involved too. It's like Black British, you know, so it's a Black Brits. But there's a lot of, you know, Black Canadians that work in this business.
Right.
A ton.
Right.
You know, and even if you look at just even our states, there are more, I'm from New York, there are more actors that work in this business from New York City than all of the UK. You know, we really only get a talented tenth of our UK brothers that have to deal with immigration and all type of visas and all type of stuff just to be able to, you know, to feed their family on this level. So there's a little bit of a disrespect, in my opinion, there as well. Like, that these talented folks come and lend their craft. They're brilliant. They're the talented 10th. We're not getting the trash actor. You know what I mean? And meanwhile, there's 1,000 New York dudes that's just from New York that's working in the business. And we, you know, it's an international business. It's a, you know, it's an international film buyer's market. This isn't just an American. It's not like we're playing a sport or some national league. So it's a little bit ridiculous to me. And let's just be real. There's the diaspora. When we talk about Black people, we're spread out every continent. And the continent we should be really focusing on is Africa, because that's where most of the new media and new developments in this business are going.
Right.
So we should get together and use our resources accordingly.
Right. And I think it was crazy because people didn't even know Damson was British when he did The Wire, right?
You mean Idris Elba?
Oh, yeah.
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 Did they? I don't know. Some people did. Some people did, you know. But yeah, I mean, these are really good actors. They add to some, you know, and let's just be real. We want to know the stories that come from the experience. So it's one thing when they are portraying Americans, right? Because I think that's what people may be beefing at. But I also would like, because of the great talent pool that's there, we also want to see the stories that come from across the pond, right? We want to see those stories, and we want to see other stories. And no one's mad when we play, you know, an African leader, or, you know, it's just a weird argument.
For sure.
It's an argument about lack, you know, as if there aren't plenty of opportunities and plenty of stories for everyone to be able to tell.
Right.
You know,
Definitely.
Plus on top, you're denying that someone is good.
Right.
Not that someone else isn't, but yeah, it's just weird to me.
Right. You mentioned your fellow actor, Isaiah John. He did that Vlad interview, and he said Dub C was on set as a consultant to help with slang and style.
With slang and style?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Dub is way more than that to me.
Oh, okay.
But
That's a legend.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see slang and style. That's how Sound like white people said that. You're here to help us with slinging style.
So what was he there for?
Dub. Well, I'll tell you what Dub is to me on the show, right? So for me to be able to portray a character like Jerome Saint, I have to do a lot of homework, right? Because I'm from New York. I didn't live in the time period. Down to the essence of what wraps you would use. To the essence of what rims or the way that you would wear your socks, the way you would wear your pants. That's all of that stuff is not just style, right? All of that stuff, a lot of that stuff has a story behind it, right? So it's not just like I'm gonna style you, like we dealing with characters or caricatures, but like there's a certain way, like if I don't wear khakis, I might not know that if I don't have a belt or if I do have a belt on, how I can hold a tool in my waistband, right? Actors often will put on something and then try to be able to navigate pulling a gun from something or a blade or a pack of smokes. And you don't know, because you don't know that culture, you look stupid trying to grab something from somewhere because you're wearing something wrong, because you haven't been through the real life of people that wear certain things a certain way, stash certain things a certain way, that got something to do with their culture. It's totally different from New York. Now I know I know the specificity of what that is with New York. I don't with California,
right?
With LA, with this particular part of LA.
Right.
There's a lot of super specificity there. So to me, I'm just giving it in that way. I'm not giving it to the things that happen in a certain time period that might turn a certain, not the national stuff, but the stuff that happens between the people of a community and the police seeing of a community.
Right.
Right? The way that certain programs came in or were pulled out. And when was that? When was the time when the skating rink was open or not? When was the time when it was off limits to do something to people's mothers or their significant others in the time when there was a green light? When was it? These are super specific things that are history. These are things that would be put in a museum of our time. So I wouldn't put that to style and how I say or the slang or that's trivializing it. What it is that we have people that are historians. We have people that are consulting producers. That's what Dub C is to me. He's a consulting producer. He has that title. And that's what he is. Mm-hmm. And that's what he's been to Snowfall. And that's a foundational level.
Right.
You know, along with, the show creators like Dave Andron and, John Singleton. To me, a Dub C is right there.
Right.
That's foundational to the work that I have to do.
Right.
Period.
Facts. How do you maintain the Jerry Curl wig throughout filming?
How do I maintain it? Hair department. That's my aunt, Andrea Jackson. That's who maintains that. But what you mean? How I maintain it? How I keep it for 6 seasons? Or
yeah, I mean, do you got to keep spraying it? Because
I mean, I don't like to give out my tips because a lot of people be talking shit. So I'm gonna just, her name is Sheila, and Sheila good. She good. She always gonna be the proper. She always gonna come right. That's how I see it. Because people, I can't have people. I be watching online and stuff. People be having their own little wigs and be trying to copy my drip. So I can't let the secrets out the bag.
Did you ever have a Jerry curl yourself?
Come on, I ain't had no Jerry curl.
You said no.
On this, hell, I wouldn't have no hair. I wouldn't have no hair left. I don't know if people with Jerry curls got hair. I need to do that. I need to do that online and see. For the people that had Jerry curls back in the days, do they still have hair? For real.
Yo.
I don't know. What you think?
I mean, the only person I think of is G Perico. He got braids now, though.
Oh, so he good.
Yeah.
He good. I think you got to have a certain type of... So, look, just based on your texture, I think some people can get to the curl quicker. Now, this that African shit, right? This is coarse. This is curly. I think you got to put so much product in this that it wouldn't be a good look come past 35. I think your shit is, you got a baldy. Your shit is gone.
I'm done.
Top missing.
That's funny. Man, a lot of people were disturbed by the gay rape scene. What were your thoughts on that?
What? The what?
Wasn't that in the first season?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
What?
The what?
The gay rape scene?
You ain't never heard me say anything about anything according to what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about.
You don't know what scene we're talking about?
Come again.
Do you want to call it something else?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, okay. All right.
Not me.
Obviously, I had Freeway Rick Ross on my show.
Who?
Freeway Rick Ross.
Oh, yeah.
It's the homie. I know he's your homie too, but yeah, he feels like the show is really based off his life. He said he even met with John Singleton before the show launched. And then John went out and did it without him. What are your thoughts on that?
I always say, Rick deserves his own show, his own story. You feel me? Rick is a boss. He doesn't need someone else to interpret his show or his story. Rick has always been a self-starter. So I respect him, meeting him and knowing him for that. There's no way that Snowfall would live up to that because that's a different story. And Snowfall is so far off of that as a derivative. As far as the stuff with him and John, of course, those are two men that would have had to deal with that at the time. They must have. And John's dead, so that's that.
Right.
And then, as far as anything else, Freeway got the right to speak his opinion on how he likes the show or doesn't. I know he supports people like me.
Right.
So I think that alone shows you that he's able to separate, things accordingly. And, but if he doesn't like something, he gonna express it.
Right.
So yeah, I big shout outs to Freeway. And I would love to see Freeway. He did a documentary. I remember when he first came home, he had done his documentary and that was him. Mm-hmm. He did that. That's his. And I feel like although with these television shows, you have to work with other people, you have to collaborate. I would love to see something that he does that's focused on him, with him helming it. And because the closer you are to the source, the better, because this is a game of collaboration and of entertainment. So things can go left once you start collaborating with a lot.
For sure.
With a lot of folk,
For sure.
Yeah.
You mentioned, 2019, John Singleton passes away. How did you feel when you heard the news?
It was devastating. It was devastating losing John. Besides the show, it was really devastating for the show. We were in the midst of shooting at the time. and the production had just came back from overseas, and he fell ill and was never returned back to set. And it didn't, that wasn't just a day or two, that was a amount of time that we didn't know what his health status would be.
Right.
So that was really devastating. And then to lose him and to have to go, have a burial service for him and all of that while still being in our season, just that alone was really traumatic for us as a production and as artists working along with him. I think we still haven't. I don't think we'll ever recover from that.
Right.
And from that loss, artistic, and just as a brother,
right.
And as a leader. You don't replace that. You don't get over it. It is what it is. You move on. And I think that we all keep him in our hearts and our prayers and, in our thoughts and, like, why do we do this? And how do you, the type of professionalism in which you do it, the storytelling, a lot of the lessons that he's given over the years imparted on us. I think we carry that. And big shout out to FX to finish this.
Right.
That didn't have to happen.
Right. Definitely.
It's not owed to anyone.
Right.
So to tell this story beginning, middle, and end and bring completion to it, I think is really dope. And we definitely miss him. That was really tough.
Yeah, I seen you tweet. You said he was not a teacher, but an awakener.
Yeah. Because he, again, even with the first thing I told you, but, after that, hey, John, I want to direct, or John, I have this concept that I want to do that I'm writing on. Hey, man, write it. This is what you do. No, you don't want to do that. Do this. He was always collaborating,
right.
always seeing the gift, speaking into it.
For sure.
And with enthusiasm, Sometimes you tell people your gift, your dream, and people receive it so lackluster.
Right.
Oh, word?
Right.
That's when you wanted to do that. For people that take your thoughts and your ideas and they lift it, they build it, they inspire it, they, fan the flame of it. It's really, it really helps. It's really beneficial to artists and everyone, business people alike.
For sure. What was your favorite John Singleton movie?
I mean, it's easy to say, but I just feel like Boys in the Hood had a father-son relationship for Black young boys that it's hard for me to think of a better one. It felt real. It was what I experienced as a young man. The teaching was stern but loving. I feel like that Furious character is so underrated in cinema history. But I know it was impactful because we got generations and generations of people that have seen that movie, that love that movie. But that particular relationship between Trey and Furious, that's it for me.
For sure. Yeah. What changed with Snowfall now that John was no longer involved?
Hard to answer what changed because I'm an actor, right? So I can't say from script to script the changes. But, we got something else on set that sometimes we're like, hey, we got to put some of the John funk on it. You know what I mean? Like make sure that we're living in that truth. You're right, living in that honesty. There's certain moments where we can feel that.
Right.
So it's really hard for me to be able to say, moment by moment what changed, other than the obvious, him not being there, him not having his voice, not having his POV. But I also feel like John empowered people while he was here. John wasn't a person that, John, from the camera team to the people doing security detail to caterers, like John would be bringing in a new person every week. Like, who that? Somebody John brought in. She ever did security before? No. She doing security now.
Aww.
That's how he was, and that's just someone new but then, whoa, we got a camera operator. One of the best in the business. Really?
Right.
Why they here? John brought them on.
That's crazy.
We got Walter Mosley in our writing room for television.
Right.
How?
Right.
John brought them on.
Crazy.
So when you're left with a lot of that, when you're left with all of these people that he wanted to collaborate with, some that he gave, opportunity to, many that he gave opportunity to, we're not in a place where we don't understand the assignment. Mm-hmm. We're not, We're not here like, oh, here go just a band of people, random folks trying to live up to some sort of, the memory or the intention of a ghost. No, this was a soul that meant a lot to us and has inspired and worked and collaborated with us, So an actor like Isaiah or Damson or Michael or Angela or Sergio or Carter, they had a personal experience with John.
Right.
It's not like I gotta just hold that. They holding that already.
Right.
So that was just who he was. That's, you can only leave what you left.
Right.
So.
That same year that you guys had a scene with a young John Singleton who was kind of like paying homage to John.
Yeah, they put that in 310, which was more of like a surreal episode. They wanted to do something in that episode that sort of gave a somewhat of a glimpse of the neighborhood and how the neighborhood was changing, mm-hmm. and what would be the contrast of a young precocious kid that was a filmmaker.
Right.
So not to say that was him or anything, but just to give this sort of contrast, this other. Snowfall is good for that, trying to give more than just the gangster or the victim or the, a POV from, camera POV,
right,
from another lens in life.
I know, you speak on how much the show is inspired by his upbringing and his experiences. Do you feel like the show is living up to his expectations now? I
would hope so. Yeah, I would hope. It was when he was here. That's the thing. Like, John, was really ecstatic about the show. It would be us that would be like, yo, what's going on? John would, every cut he would love, and he would brag about the show and take us out. And anytime you saw John talking about this show, he was always positive and ecstatic and knew where it was going and what it was doing. So yeah, he just saw it. He just saw it. He knew it. I can't guess on the spirit realm, but I know that, that even the things that are going on with the show now are done with integrity, is done with him in mind. And, we're proud. We're proud. There's always can be things, I'll see things where people will be like, oh, well, this wouldn't have happened if John. And for me, I would say, I don't know. Because there's one thing about at least my relationship with John, I never could pinpoint his perspective. There would be certain things where I'd be like, dead to right, John would think this about this. And then I would ask him, and he would be coming to me from left field. I'd be like, what? What? So that's how you see that?
Right.
You know? So I remember that. That's a truth around my head, that you don't know what a close friend or a mentor or a visionary, you don't know what they would think about anything. That's what made them so dope, is that perspective, you needed to get it from them. You needed it straight from the horse's mouth, because with it came a lot of intelligence, just intellect and insight and creativity and history, and it was all wrapped up in this experience of John Singleton. Right. So there's no need to, guess on what he would have thought.
Right.
I'm going to tell you what he would have thought.
Right.
You don't know.
Right. You actually had a scene where you had to kill a woman. What was that like to play a role killing a woman?
Yeah, I didn't even think of it like that. That's interesting that you
Right.
see it like that. A role where you killed the woman.
Yo, that's kind of intense.
That was actually so that's perspective, right? So a role that you killed the woman. No, I see that as a role, a moment where I was protecting a woman, because that character got killed because they tried to kill the person that means the most to me, which was Luann Saint.
Aw.
Yeah, so yeah, she was in the crosshairs because Louis was in the crosshairs and got hurt. So it's interesting how that, but no, I didn't see it like that. That person got killed because what they did to Louis, and Louis needed justice.
Right. How are you, though? How are you responding to people in public? Are you getting asked for photos?
Yeah.
Way more?
A lot more, yeah. A lot more. I love it. It's dope. It's great to be well received. It's not always that, right? So when it is that, when you've done something and it's a calling card to your work and people have been moved by it, it feels good for people to, to give you a pat on the back. Sometimes it can get a little crazy, but that's part of what you sign up for when you pick these type of professions. So I take it all in stride, and when I need a little time to myself, or I feel like I can't go out a certain place with my family because then I'll choose to do something a little bit more private. But when I'm out and about and I see people, or people want to call me by the character's name and may not even know my name, there's no reason or need to me to take offense by that or anything, because it really actually does come from the love of what they see.
Right.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Real quick. Well, also, you had on the new season, you beat up a guy pretty badly. Can you describe the process of creating a realistic beatdown on camera?
Well, it starts with these, right? But yeah, again, I feel like a lot of these moments with this character, like I'm a character actor, so to me, it's what will you do or won't do to protect what's most important to you. And for my character, what's most important to him is the woman by his side. So I'm gonna use everything I got at my, I'm gonna use everything. And in that moment, there was this scene, and I think they were, I think the writers, credit and kudos to the writers, because they wanted to show, in a sense, a mental illness that was developing within the character Jerome, and there's been seeds of that, and anger issues, and because of the lifestyle that they, like you mentioned, like embodying this woman the season before, all of those things accumulate. A lot of times we see in our entertainment, our art, no repercussions for the heinous things that go on, but in real life, stuff tends to stick with you a little bit. Stuff is a little bit more tacky than drop that gun, pick up another gun, keep on killing. So I'm glad. I think that there's actually a bit of responsibility in moments where you show the effects, the ill effects of the lifestyle.
Right.
And for Jerome, so even though the pounding out is kind of like the sensational thing, the thing that gets things going, I like what happened afterward, that he actually had to digress and and deal with the repercussions of these kind of quick spur of the moment actions where he's releasing. Homeboy got a lot of they released the smacking on him that he wasn't prepared for, which happens. We see that in real life. People snap, snap, and you're like, oh wow, the squabble is on, because but yeah. The ingredients to a good squabbling scene is, first of all, hopefully you can fight. So, if you could fight and you lay them things down, it was fun shooting that scene, because I have an action background. So I love to. And to me, those are the perfect situations where you can take a character that has a unique perspective and things that he'll live and die for, and then you mix it with the training of being able to fight, but he's fighting for something that he loves or that he's trying to protect. I feel the same way when the fight scene with Damson the year before with Franklin, when they fighting his nephew. So oftentimes, the production will lean into some of these more physical things with me because of knowing,
Definitely. Obviously this season, Jerome and his wife turn against his nephew Saint. How did you feel when you read that in the script? And do you feel like the public is mad at you for doing that?
Yeah. Okay, we getting the recent thing. I feel like again, you just worded something. You said that he turned. I don't know if I turned on my nephew. I don't know if I've turned on my nephew. I feel like I'm caught between a rock and a hard place with Louis and Saint. I feel like they both want two different things and they're going in two different directions. And I feel like I'm one of the things that's tethering them together. So I see myself more as being in the middle than really having picked a side.
Mm-hmm.
But, in the real world, not picking a side is picking a side. So I can understand how the audience could be like, I've already squatted up. So, then if it's that, then bring what the fuck you bring.
How'd you feel when you read the script?
How did I feel when I read that script? I'm assuming you're talking about the season finale.
Yeah.
Because to me, the handwriting been on the wall almost that entire season. So to me, the only thing that happened in the season finale was that he stole a lot of bread and kind of burnt it down. So how did I feel about that? We got to see the next year.
Right.
But yeah, I feel like that's what makes Snowfall really, really, really good, is that we know the geopolitical things is going on. Contra Sandinistas, the CIA, now the KGB. But then there's this family dynamic, this sort of Game of Thrones that's happening within families as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Crazy. How do you feel about Snowfall not winning any awards?
Oh, I think that's crazy. Which one you think we should win?
I mean, what is the TV one? The Emmys?
The TV one. The Emmys?
Right?
Interesting. Yeah, there's Emmys. Yeah, there's Emmys, definitely. How do I feel that they haven't won? I don't know if I feel anyway that they haven't won. I feel like I feel a little bit more that they haven't been nominated, perhaps.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, but that's, there's a voting body. So if the voting body thinks that there's something else that it's not like there's an audience that's choosing the nominations or the winners. So obviously we got more work to do.
For sure. Real quick, 2018, you actually did Unsolve the Murders of Tupac and Biggie.
Yeah.
City of Lies was about the murder of Biggie. How was that? How was it shooting something so close to hip hop?
No, with Biggie, I've met Biggie several times.
Oh wow!
Yeah, growing up in Apollo, I used to, he's another one I run up on. Oh yo,
yeah,
VIJ. He was dope. He was really dope. It's sort of surreal. It's sort of surreal to It's really surreal to play characters, different characters in both of those productions. But I respond to hip hop. It's what we grew up. It's our times, and to lend voice to it feels special. It feels that I'm doing the work that that's how I kind of feel like. I feel like I'm a storyteller of all people, of all times. I feel like that's a gift of mine. And to be a part of these type of productions means something to me.
Hell yeah.
Because it feels like I'm helping tell the story.
Right.
If I'm not in service to the story, then by all means, someone else should do it, whatever. But if this is about my culture,
right?
Yeah, find me,
right?
Find me. I'll be in service of it,
right?
No ego, nothing, but I'm in service of it. So in those situations, I was able to work with really talented filmmakers that were trying to tell both of those stories impactful and honest. And with dignity, and so it feels good to be a part of collaborations like that.
For sure.
About about the people that we see as monuments.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw, but Vlad actually interviewed Keefe D, who was in the car that killed Tupac. Keefe said Orlando Anderson was the shooter. Who do you think killed Tupac?
I have no fucking idea.
Okay.
Yeah. I have no idea. I mean, I was a part of, those two projects, so I've did all the history on those things, but
you don't got a little inkling?
The more you read, the more you read, the more it's like it's crazy, and I wouldn't want to speculate on the things of people that mean something to other people, so I have no idea.
Right. I respect it. You also in 2018, you got married to Felicia Joseph. She's now the vice president of casting at NBC Universal Cable Entertainment, working on shows like Queen of the South. How is that? Yeah, just...
Well, she's actually not there anymore. Just
kidding.
She moved on.
Okay.
She moved on.
Yeah.
Yeah, she moved on from there. But yeah, my wife is beautiful. We just had a little 3-month. We have a 3-month-old son.
Yeah.
And but she moved on from NBC Universal, but she's still in casting.
Okay.
Definitely.
How did you guys meet?
We met producing a web series back in 2010-ish. Yeah. And then we were married in 2018.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's my baby.
2021, DaniLeigh tweeted, am I the only one that can't get into Snowfall? And you replied, it's a black thing you wouldn't understand. How did it feel? We're flying that.
I didn't even think that was even going on. She said it. I said it.
Right.
We were doing the, because I don't be on social media like that.
Respect that.
We were doing the replies back, because this is during the time where we're supposed to interact with fans, all that stuff. So it was just a tweet where I saw something and I was like, oh, I get why you don't get it. Bang. Right? So yeah, it was nothing more than that.
I mean, you went
little slick talk.
You went a little viral for it, you know?
It was a little slick talk, that's all. I like to say funny things and do little funny, you know, videos and stuff sometimes. So it's all in love.
Right. Were you familiar with her catalog at all? Her music?
Not really.
Not really? You good.
She dope though, right?
Yeah, she's dope.
Yeah.
You know, man, with all this, well, also, you know, you're just talking about hip hop real quick. What are your thoughts on lyrics being used in Young Thug and Gunna's YSL Rico case? How do you feel about the Protect Black Art movement?
That's crazy. Hove was on that, right?
I think so.
Mills and Hove? Was it Meek and Hove that was spearheading that?
Oh, I'm not sure, actually.
I'm not sure. I think using lyrics, I mean, I don't know. Another thing, I don't really talk on what I don't know. So,
well,
I know I wouldn't want to see, I know like a filmmaker wouldn't want their film to be used as, you know, some sort of evidence toward their guilt or innocence. So using art, using, you know, it's tricky.
Right.
It's really tricky. Really tricky. I hope justice is served for those young brothers, because we see this a lot, man. People that can move the culture forward or empower a community, already represent a community, get snuffed out.
Right.
Get snuffed out and taken out before they can truly be as impactful as they can be. So I hope those young men are exonerated.
Right. Well, we were just going to ask if, you know, some people compare it to movies. Do you think it's a fair comparison? Because you just go in and do, you know, you do your lines.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It seems the lives, a lot of rappers, and there's a circle of truth here. You know, there's a circle of truth which I consider responsibility, right? Accountability. There's something about putting out horror films, right? There's something about putting out action films with a lot of guns. Like we hear a lot about the talk of guns being in films and just graphic, and how that may play into the amount of gun violence that we have in our nation, right? I'm not sure, but where there's usually smoke, there's fire. I don't know. You feel me? So to me, it's worth investigating. It's worth listening to people that may have done the research on that.
Right.
So I think it's the same thing can be said for a lot of our artists and the type of the persona, the lifestyle that they engage in the lyrics.
Right.
And how harmful that can be for themselves. It feel like right now it's, you know, like that's the toughest job in America is to be a rapper right now. And we usually don't see the same ill effects with actors. However, there is a lot of things with actors. A lot of actors take their own lives. A lot of actors also have to self-medicate and, you know, deal with mental issues as well. So I just think that we should be looking to protect our artists, not necessarily use their art against them, but obviously there has to be some correlation into some of the violence and some of the things that's happening too, that perhaps artists are doing to themselves.
Right.
And how, you know, to the larger extent, how an audience is perceiving what we're doing.
Definitely.
You know?
Definitely. Man, well, what are you most excited for next?
Man, next I have a baseball film coming out July 15th called The Royal. It's about this baseball player named Willie Mays Aikens. He played in the World Series in 1980, and he hit back-to-back home runs in games that hadn't been done but once before. And several years later, he was out of baseball. He had sold crack cocaine to an undercover police officer. And the name of this movie is called The Royal, and it's about him basically getting a second chance. It's about him taking accountability for his life and trying to reconstruct the pieces, you know. So in some sense, it's a family film. What does it look like for men that haven't had a estranged relationship with their daughter for over 15 years, you know? What does it look like when you come home from prison and you try to pick up the pieces and it just, you're no longer a star athlete or, you know, a celebrity actor? What does that look like? And how do you put those pieces back together? How do you reingratiate yourself back into your community and start fresh? So the name of the film is The Royal. It comes out July 15th. And it's, you know, it's a really good film. Right. It's a really good film. I hope people take the chance to watch it and feel the lesson from it. It's a feeling lesson.
I love those kind of movies. Man, well, what's on your goals list? Is that Oscar something?
I don't know. You said we working on the Emmy. That's what you said, right?
I mean, that's both would be great.
You put that in the universe. We'll deal with that. Snowfall for the Emmy. Let's go. Yeah, but no, I'm just happy where my career is at right now. I'm loving collaborating with new up and coming you know, talent and a lot of established people that are institutions in this business. And I'm just carving out my own legacy. So I'm really appreciative to work with people, come in with a hard work and humble spirit, and leave all the ego on the screen.
Hell yeah. I love it. Man, well, you're always welcome here.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming to VladTV.
Yeah.
Yay!